Hi, I'm Jackie Topa. I wanted to show you a few things that you can do with this Simply Pressed clay that Stampin' Up is coming out with on June 1st. I can't show you the products because the catalog isn't live yet, but I can show you what I've been doing with it. And so here's one little sample to use as an embellishment. And this stuff is nice and light. This one's dry. It's very pliable still, really soft. And this one just came out of the mold, so it's fairly, you can still handle it, holds its shape, but it's pliable. So if you wanted to do something else with it, you can for a while until it dries. Some people were having a little bit of trouble getting their flowers, and especially the buttons. They're a little bit more intricate, getting them out of the mold. This isn't one of the molds. This is my cookie press. But I found if I pat the mold with my embossing buddy, the clay kind of popped right out. Another option is putting it in the freezer. So this one I had in the freezer, and this one I dusted with Dazzling Diamonds rather than my embossing buddy. So when you do that and then you press your clay in there, this is what you get. I don't know if you can see the shimmer on that. And let me show you a flower done with. That was a mold that was dusted with the Dazzling Diamonds. And here's a couple of the colored. This was colored clay. To color the clay, you just put a couple drops of re-inker in the white clay, and it takes on the color. And if you want something a little more intense, I'll show you some of the color comparisons here. They say to use gloves because it kind of gets on your fingers. I've been doing it just in a baggie or in some saran wrap, but this is real red, and I used quite a few drops, but you don't really get an intense color. So to do that, I'm going to find my sample here. If you want a really dark color, you can use your markers direct and just color them in, which is what I did with this button, and then I covered it with crystal effects. And then it's nice and bright. This is the difference between, I forget, that's Calypso Coral, and this one I used an aqua painter to paint it, and a little bit of re-inker. This I put some drops of re-inker right into the clay, and that's how that turned out. And here's the difference between the re-inker and the aqua painter, and then putting it right into the clay. That was the Bermuda Bay. And I also wanted to show you that I noticed when I put them in the freezer, this is one that air dried, and this is one that was dried in the freezer. Well, it didn't dry in the freezer. You put them in the freezer for about half an hour to an hour, and when you pop them out, they come out really, well, perfect. This one I colored right into the mold and pressed the white clay in there just to see, and it's kind of like a watercolor effect. So those are some options for coloring your clay. And I wanted to show you, I turned some of these into a brads. I used just a brad that's retiring. So press a little bit of clay in your mold, put your brad in there, and then just bring the clay up around it, pressing it in. And you end up with a little brad, and you can color it how you want. And I made these paper clips. Made a couple of those. And I just want to show you, because you don't want to stick it flat. It'll be just standing out on the back. So what I did is I bent my paper clip, and then just a little farther down, I bent it back. Just so you have a little bit of a bump in there, because then that'll sit down into your clay, and your paper clip will stay flat, so it goes inside. And you can also press some other stuff into the back, like this one. I pressed some ribbon in there. And another thing you can do when your clay is still soft is just press. I put a little glue dot on the back of this one, and I press that in. These ones these already have the adhesive on them, so they stuck. And here's one with a rhinestone. And I wanted to show you too. This, if you want to make some leaves For your flowers, I just cut the tips off this butterfly and the top wings, and that was the leaves. And for the little one, just cut off the wings, and that is a nice size for this little rose. Now if you wanted to make some out of clay, I'll show you how to do that. Get that flower we squished. Just roll a little ball, and I just hold it down with my finger and then just pull it the other side. And when you have the shape you want, you can always keep pinching more off. And then I just took my piercing tool. Oops, I just did a little line in the center. And then it sticks very well to itself. So this one's already dry, and it stays on very well. So you don't have to glue it or anything. And let's see what else we can do here. Oh, I wanted to show you, if you want to make a double flower like this one, normally these are fresh, I don't like how it stands up so high. So I take my silicone sheet again, and I just squish that down. You don't even need a whole flower. You can just have a partial one here. My clay's already starting to dry a bit. And then just kind of press that down into there so that you're not so high. So if you wanted to put several of them together, you could do it that way. And one more thing I wanted to show you is that you can emboss these. So to do that, I just used my piercing tool in the back and my spritzer. Just sprinkle it with some embossing powder and then heat that up. Let's take a second. If you overheat it, it might start to bubble a little. I was kind of surprised that I was able to do this, but it seemed to work. There it goes. So just emboss that till it's completely done. Here's one I did with iridescent ice. And that's what you can do with your embossed flowers. So I hope that gives you a few ideas for the pressed clay. And we'll see what other products we can play with from the new catalog.